Top 10 points about how organized crime is making a comeback in Italy. Hey folks, welcome to the channel. Today, we're tackling a gripping topic, the resurgence of organized crime in Italy. Stick around as we break down the top 10 reasons behind this alarming comeback and explore its far-reaching implications. Number 10. The historical context. Italy's ongoing struggle with organized crime. Italy's battle with organized crime is deeply rooted in its history, stretching back to the early 20th century. Groups such as the Sicilian Mafia, Camorra, and Ndrangheta have long cast a shadow over Italian society. Despite intense law enforcement efforts and high-profile anti-mafia campaigns, these criminal organizations have demonstrated a remarkable ability to adapt and persist. The Mafia's influence was initially seen in their control over rural areas and illegal activities such as extortion and smuggling. Over time, as Italy evolved, so did these groups, adapting their methods and expanding their operations. The historical persistence of these groups highlights a deep-seated issue within Italian society, where organized crime has become intertwined with economic and political life. How have these groups adapted over the decades? And what historical factors have allowed them to maintain their influence despite concerted efforts to eradicate them? Number 9. The economic crisis, fueling the resurgence of crime. The economic turmoil Italy faced in recent years has significantly contributed to the resurgence of organized crime. The 2008 financial crisis and subsequent economic downturn led to high unemployment rates and widespread financial instability. In such an environment, organized crime groups found ample opportunity to exploit the desperate economic conditions. Many individuals, struggling to make ends meet, were lured into criminal activities as a means of survival. These groups offer financial stability through illicit means, thereby attracting new recruits and expanding their operations. The economic crisis has created a breeding ground for organized crime by amplifying vulnerabilities among the populace. The desperation of individuals facing financial hardships often leads them to seek out the perceived security provided by criminal enterprises. How has this economic instability fueled the comeback of organized crime? And what are the broader implications for Italian society? Number 8. The impact of corruption. How political and legal systems enable crime. Corruption remains a major factor in the resurgence of organized crime in Italy. Throughout history, corruption within political and legal systems has undermined efforts to combat criminal organizations. Bribery, favoritism, and a lack of transparency have allowed organized crime to flourish. Corrupt officials and law enforcement officers, who may accept bribes or turn a blind eye to illegal activities, provide protection and facilitate the operations of criminal groups. This systemic corruption erodes public trust in institutions and impedes effective law enforcement. The deep-seated nature of corruption in Italy means that even with anti-corruption measures in place, these efforts often fall short of fully addressing the issue. How has this corruption enabled organized crime to thrive, and what steps are being taken to address these challenges? Number 7. The role of drug trafficking, a lucrative market for criminal enterprises. Drug trafficking has always been a significant source of revenue for organized crime groups in Italy. The country's geographical location, positioned as a gateway between Europe and North Africa, makes it a prime transit point for drug shipments. Organized crime groups have developed complex networks to manage and control this lucrative trade, using advanced technology and logistical expertise. The immense profits generated from drug trafficking provide these organizations with the financial resources to expand their operations and influence. This revenue not only supports further criminal activities, but also facilitates the recruitment of new members. The drug trade's impact extends beyond the criminal underworld, affecting communities and public health. How does drug trafficking contribute to the resurgence of organized crime in Italy, and what are the societal consequences of this illegal market? Number 6. The influence of modern technology, a double-edged sword. Modern technology has profoundly impacted the operations of organized crime groups, offering both advantages and challenges. Technology has enhanced the capabilities of criminal enterprises by facilitating sophisticated communication, financial transactions, and criminal activities. Encrypted messaging apps, digital currencies, and advanced surveillance techniques enable criminals to operate more efficiently and evade detection. At the same time, law enforcement agencies have leveraged technology to track and disrupt these activities. Tools such as data analytics, digital forensics, and cyber surveillance have become crucial in combating organized crime. The interplay between these technological advancements highlights a continuous battle between criminal organizations and authorities. How has technology shaped the operations of organized crime groups? And what are its implications for both criminals and law enforcement? Number 5. The expansion into legitimate businesses, blending crime with commerce. Organized crime groups in Italy have increasingly integrated themselves into legitimate businesses, using these ventures as fronts for their illicit activities. By infiltrating industries such as construction, waste management, hospitality, and finance, these groups can launder money, evade law enforcement, and gain social and economic influence. This strategy allows them to maintain a facade of legitimacy while continuing their criminal operations. The blending of crime with commerce complicates regulatory efforts and makes it difficult to distinguish between legitimate business activities and criminal enterprises. This integration into the legitimate economy also provides organized crime groups with a means to exert influence over local communities and political entities. How has the expansion into legitimate businesses facilitated the resurgence of organized crime in Italy, and what are the challenges in addressing this issue? Number 4. The role of violence and intimidation, maintaining control and influence. Violence and intimidation are central tactics employed by organized crime groups in Italy to assert control and influence. These groups use violence to intimidate rivals, enforce discipline, and manipulate local communities. High-profile acts of violence, such as targeted assassinations, bombings, and public demonstrations of power, serve to reinforce their dominance and instill fear among both the public and potential informants. The pervasive use of violence helps these organizations maintain control over their territories and criminal enterprises, making it difficult for authorities to combat their activities. The fear instilled by organized crime groups also discourages community members from cooperating with law enforcement. How do violence and intimidation contribute to the resurgence of organized crime? And what impact do these tactics have on society? Number 3. The revival of traditional crime families, reinventing the old guard. Traditional crime families in Italy, such as the Sicilian Mafia, have managed to reinvent themselves and regain prominence despite decades of law enforcement pressure. These groups have evolved their methods and expanded their networks, adapting to contemporary challenges while retaining traditional structures. The ability of these crime families to modernize while preserving their core operations highlights the enduring nature of organized crime. Their resilience and adaptability make them formidable opponents in the fight against crime. The revival of traditional crime families also reflects the ongoing challenges faced by authorities in dismantling well-established criminal networks. How have traditional crime families managed to make a comeback, and what does this mean for the future of organized crime in Italy? Number 2. The role of local and international cooperation, addressing the global nature of crime. Combating the resurgence of organized crime in Italy requires robust local and international cooperation. The global nature of organized crime means that criminal activities often span multiple countries, necessitating coordinated efforts between Italian authorities and international law enforcement agencies. Collaborative initiatives, such as joint investigations, information sharing, and cross-border operations, are essential for disrupting criminal networks and dismantling their operations. International partnerships also enable the exchange of intelligence and resources, enhancing the effectiveness of anti-crime strategies. The success of these cooperative efforts can significantly impact the ability to combat organized crime on a global scale. How is local and international cooperation addressing the global nature of organized crime? And what are the challenges and successes in these collaborative efforts? Number 1. The future outlook, challenges, and opportunities in the fight against organized crime. Looking to the future, Italy faces significant challenges in its fight against organized crime, but there are also opportunities for progress. Addressing the resurgence of organized crime requires a comprehensive approach that includes strengthening legal frameworks, enhancing law enforcement capabilities, and addressing underlying social and economic issues. Innovative strategies, such as leveraging technology for crime prevention and fostering community engagement, offer new avenues for combating organized crime. The future outlook for Italy's battle against organized crime depends on its ability to adapt to evolving threats and implement effective solutions. Continued vigilance and adaptability will be crucial in achieving long-term success in the fight against organized crime. What are the key challenges and opportunities in this ongoing battle? And how can Italy and its allies work towards a safer and more just future? Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed the content, please hit the like button and subscribe to stay updated with our latest videos on YouTube.